All right, all right, all right. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It is 10:37 p.m. the 12th of July, 2021, and I do not have a good reason for making this podcast in video form as like the fifth installment, sixth, seventh installment. I don't know. It has been a long time since I've done one of these podcasts, and I feel like everyone that I do is like, oh, it's been a long time since I've done this podcast. Let me drop a new one. And then like 3 months later, it's like, oh, it's been another long time. Time to drop it again. So instead of this being a weekly thing, oh boy, this is almost a journal. Jesus. This is what tech journals are going to be like in the now. I was going to say in the future, but it's now. Oh my God. I'm caffeinated right now. And like, oh, mine going in every which direction. I'm going to do my very best to keep this, I would say, in like an important direction or in a way that's like concise or that's followable or makes sense. But if you know me whatsoever, my best effort at that is not going to be enough. Okay. I advise you get a drink, relax, sit down and listen and think, more importantly, because my job is not to tell you what to think. My job's not to tell you what to do. I'm sharing my experiences in the hopes that you think about yourself. My goal here is to make everyone watching think about themselves, not about me. I'm a vehicle for your own journey of introspection and self-growth. I'm basically teenage Jesus. Oh God. That was probably one of the worst starts I've ever had to one of these. Okay. Let's talk tonight, this evening, about what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about why I do what I do. That's what I want to talk about. Don't sue me, Starbucks. Oh, cold coffee. All right. So, why I do what I do. We're not writing this video. We're executing on this podcast. This is going to be bad, guys. But if you've ever seen my very, very first installment of this podcast, the podcast is called Untitled. If you haven't seen that first video, I would go do it because it explains itself. And it would make this better, probably. Jesus, we're almost 3 minutes in and I haven't said anything worth anything. Oh God. I would restart the podcast. I would press the delete key, undo the recording, but because I don't have a brand that I need to support, because I'm not creating this with a specific goal in mind other than making you guys think and being candid about my own journey, this is for reals, for realsies. This is authentic. This is real. This is me. And I'm never going to hide that. So why I do this. And right now I'm thinking, we've already sort of explained why I do this podcast. Like I said in the first video, like I said, like I said, man, like I earlier mentioned, let's go a little bit deeper into the meaning of why I do what I do, which immediately begs the question, hey, CT, what do you do? And to that answer, or to that question, I don't have an answer. What do I do? Because it's different every single day. And people are like, wow, how do you do something different every single day and still get paid? I don't. That's why I work in a burger shop. I work at a burger shop locally and I hate it, but it's a necessary evil in my life because I never want to turn down an opportunity or lose the ability to chase my dreams because of a financial reason. So I work a shit job in a burger shop and that's that. Let's try and talk a little bit about what drives me. I'm 19 years old. I spent 2 years on the gears professional circuit. Before then, I spent 4 years rowing on a nationally ranked level. Would have gone D1 if I didn't get injured. I actually would have gone D1 if I decided not to do esports, which is basically like getting injured, right? I mean, come on, man. Like as soon as you choose this lifestyle and this life, and I don't even know if you choose it, but as soon as it just grabs you by the face, man, you can't get out of it, or at least I can't. I'm going to be spending the rest of my life doing this, whatever this is, right? And the whole point of this is, why do I do what I do? What do I do? Why do I do? Don't know, but we're doing. And that's the whole point of both this podcast and my entire career is just do, man. Let go of the fear of judgment or failure. I would rather fail over and over and over and over and over again than to not do, because I learned so much from my failures, just trying to avoid sounding cliche, but I lose my mind when I'm not doing. I need to do, I need to touch, I need to think, I need to feel. And every second that I spend just sitting around, some of them are necessary and some of them are like, okay, today I'm doing nothing productive on purpose and I'm still doing something. I'm doing nothing very specifically. And those days are necessary, man. And the toll of what we go through as creators, I mean, really, realistically, every single person in esports is an entrepreneur. Everyone is. You're developing a brand for yourself, or you're developing a brand that you create for someone else or something else or for some other purpose. It's all about creating, and creating is hard. Creating is incredibly hard, and I can't do it alone. I do not have the resources, the experience, or a number of other things to be able to create on my own what I want to create. So that puts me in a weird situation because I still want to do. And so the advice that I was given was don't create, document. And if you've been watching these podcasts, A, I'm so sorry. B, you've probably heard me say that before. And for me, documenting and not creating, I believe that because I'm constantly doing in the engagements and opportunities that I have, because I work my ass off and I'm constantly curious and love to learn, to document will be enough, because I don't have the answers. Creating requires a vision, a start, an end, a method to get between those 2 points. And I don't have enough experience or a clear enough path to give you a creation, especially when it comes to anything like a podcast or a self-documentation process. There's no story to tell because it's not done yet. So I'm going to document as it happens. And that's what this podcast is. 7 minutes and 24 seconds into it. I feel like I haven't said anything, but I think I've also said a lot. And again, this is all about just being candid. This is who I am. This is how I think. This is what I do. And I keep saying this is what I do, and I'm not really doing anything. But at the same time, I think simply just by the act of sitting here, turning the camera on, and saying, I have no plan. There's nothing written on the screen ahead of me. It is a blank OneNote page used exclusively for the purpose of making my lighting situation just a little bit better. It's bad, man. We're down horrendously. But I just want to talk about a lot of different things. And I'm saying this over and over and over again in the hopes that while I stall for time, I think of something worth talking about. Let's get inception here. I'm going to talk about what I think something means to be worthy of attention or something worth talking about. How do you judge what's worth talking about? Why do we care about what other people have to say? I feel like you have to understand that the answer to that question yourself before you can create for others is, why do I consume from others, right? Why do I love esports? Why do I love the gaming scene? Why do I love the creativity and the players in the game and everything? Before I can create in a meaningful way for others, I have to know how people have meaningfully impacted me. And it's going to change week by week, day by day, year by year. But I will say that I create because I want the opportunity to turn around on my most difficult days and look at something, look at my past, look at who I was, what I had done, and find a solace in that, find a pride in that, and say, I have done. There have been dozens of bad, worst, terrible ever days between that point and this point. And I've chosen to continue to push through, and I've done so many other incredible things. So I think me making these videos monthly and routinely usually comes in the wake of a lot of disappointments, a lot of really difficult struggles. And so I guess every time that you see me do one of these videos, I have probably failed at something very big, something that I worked really, really hard on. And it leads me to this. Now, I might not even be entirely aware of exactly what that failure is, because failure is a finality, and I don't stop. I don't quit. So I guess the word failure is not correct, but something didn't go as I had planned. So maybe things I didn't have control over, maybe things I did have control over, which leads me to this podcast and to these moments. I believe that being just as candid as this and just sitting down and letting go on camera in front of a microphone, I think that is content that will matter, because I'm going to be someone someday, someone that I am proud of, someone that other people are proud of. And I want to be candid on how I get there. I will never be a person on a pedestal that everyone looks up to. That will not happen, because all of my struggles and my successes will both be documented and shared candidly and openly, regularly, to everyone. So I will never be on a pedestal to be looked at or adored or, proud of. It'll be on a very, very even ground in a very real space. And there will be no magic sauce. Oh, CT did this in only 2 years, or he gave all this and did all that. There's no secret. There's no magic. This is what I had done. These are the things I struggled with. And this is what I did well. And this is the result. There's no secret formula. There's going to be a formula. And it's not going to be the same for you. But I want every person who's supported me, who is a fan of my progress, who wants to learn from me, and who I want to learn from, know how I got where I am. And to do that requires years and years and years of open and candid documentation. So that's why at the beginning of every single one of these podcasts, I always say the exact date and the exact time, just so you get an idea of where I am in my lifetime. I'm 19 years old. In exactly 1 month, I turn 20. I will no longer be a teenager. I made my mom cry when I said that. I was like, you no longer have a teenage son. You have an adult son. And that was a lot for her. And I don't think it was a lot for me, mostly just because, I'm in it, I am it, and I have no control over it. But that reality is incredibly scary to me. I'll tell you a story about when I was growing up. I was 9 years old. A decade ago. And I was going to turn 10, and I was terrified. I remember crying to my mom, or I don't remember. Okay. My mom has told me this story, and it sounds right. Okay. Sorry, but I was 10 years old, or I was 9, about to turn 10, like days in advance, like literally a decade and 2 weeks ago, probably. I was terrified to turn 10 years old. Crying. I didn't want to get old. Didn't want to be double digits. It was just a nightmare. And my parents could understand it, sure, because every kid gets scared of growing up a little bit. But I have that same instinct now where I do not want to get older. Because to me, in a very cynical, scary way, every year, and then I guess in this instance, every day I'm a step closer to death. Dun, dun, dun. You know what I mean? And I'm not ready. I'm not ready to die, right? That's so dramatic and so whatever else, but I don't think I will ever be ready to die. You know what I mean? But I have so much potential with the gifts of education and the relationships that I've built and the people whom I truly uphold as idols, role models, best friends, acquaintances. And to have all this power to chase a dream and to not run every single day towards that, that's what's terrifying to me. To have the opportunity and to go, or to be scared and not decide to do it, or to fail on the path there and go, that's it, I'm done. I'm done being humiliated, done with this, done with that. refuse for that to happen. It's a refusal because the possibility occurs pretty often. I mean, right now, like I said, I'm working at a burger shop and it's fine. It's whatever. I'm good at my job, bro. I'm good. Let me tell you, I'm good, man. I make some mackin' ass burgers, okay? But every single day that I go put on an apron, clock in, get behind that grill and fucking flip and make burgers, even though they're good burgers, even though there is some small joy of like, I get to make burgers and I get to look out into the kitchen and see someone eat that burger and go, holy fuck, this is amazing. Like I brought that experience to them. That's cool. And I value that. But at the same time, this is not the way I want to bring that experience to people through burgers. That's not my passion. I want to bring that same experience through gaming and through content in a variety of different alleyways. And so a lot of times it's better to know not what you want to do, but to know what you don't want to do. And then I know in this case, bringing that happiness and joy to people through burgers is not it for me. Hopefully, if all goes well, right? So every single day, it's almost like just a slap in the face. You know, clock in. You haven't made it yet. Clock out. Clock back in. You haven't made it yet. Clock back out. 40, 50 hours a week. You have not made it yet. Every time I clock in. And I'm forced to make those people, bring that joy to people in a way that I don't want to. And people can say, okay, why are you flipping burgers then? Go make content all the time. Do this, do that. And it's if I were to spend full-time content right now at 19, I've made the decision that I don't think that's sustainable. And there's the argument of, oh, you don't believe in yourself? Or, oh, I don't know, actually. I don't know what the other argument would be. But I know and have made that decision that it is more sustainable to make all the money that I can and build up the foundation of a sustainable lifestyle that then ends up where I can be in a position to sustainably chase those ambitions. What's up, Pops? You want to check the gutter? All right, so we recently had a gutter problem in our house, and like the rain would like, it would get clogged up and then the rain would just cascade over the gutters. And my pa and my ma just figured out, they used like some crazy powerful leaf blower to like blow up all the all the crap out of the gutters. And so it started raining and my dad came down at almost 11 at night to go outside and check if the gutters are working properly. Yeah, that's what's going on right now. And I'm here recording a podcast. But yeah, where I was with that, you know, it sucks, dude. Like I said, it's working. Oh yeah. He's mad excited. I love it. I love it. But like I said, it's rough. You know, clock in, slap in the face. You're not where you want to be yet. But also, again, having that perspective of being like, okay, you know, I'm still doing what I want, just not the way I want to. You know, I don't want flipping burgers to be the vehicle for that. But we're going to get there, and it's a process.
Tombstone, baby.
Yeah, we definitely want that. All right, what's the next little bit we got here? I don't know. I have recently been working out a lot. I am the heaviest we've ever weighed. We love to see that. We're starting to get bigger. And that's something that I've really, really struggled to do over time. I'm like, I don't know, if we're playing the numbers game here, like I always do at the beginning of these podcasts. I'm 6'2", like 158. Like I am lean. I'm very, very athletic and have competed at very, very high levels, but it has never been someone who's big or bulky or strong, really. I've competed in endurance athletics, rowing, running, track, all of the above. And so to now finally be in a place where I work out and my body has slowed down growing enough that where I'm like, okay, we're starting to put on weight here. It's an incredible feeling. And quite honestly, I've been lifting for like 4 to 5 years on and off. like I lifted like 10 times a week for like 3 years when I was rowing. Took a year off my freshman year of college, and then now I'm getting back into it. And just now am I starting to see like weight gains and like muscle definition gains. And that honestly feels like a metaphor for how the esports shit is going. Is I work hard every single day for the past 4 to 5 years, more or less. And I've seen ups and downs, but in the long run, pretty minimal progress in, distance carried. I've built an incredible foundation and I'm most proud of the network that I've built and the truly gifted human beings that I get to call friends and mentors. That's it, it's irreplaceable. And so building that foundation of talented people around me, I think puts me in a position to succeed anywhere I go. But on the flip side of that, I haven't gone anywhere yet. And how do you get out of the cycle of prepping to go somewhere, and never leaving the station? I'm building the most beautiful train ever, and it has not gone a foot past the station. How do you find the balance between how beautiful and how fast does the train need to get to also, let's start moving forward? And what does that look like? That's an incredibly hard answer and balance to figure out. And if I had the answer, I would drop it right here, right now. So other people trying to do the things that I'm doing would have, something better to figure out, or a direction or something to choose to help out and do. Don't have that answer. As soon as I get it, you will have it. I will share it as soon as I get it. We are not there yet, regrettably, but I believe we're starting to move the train forward. I believe we are. Yeah. The video released before this one was not a Untitled podcast. It was simply just a video saying I'm going to play with words. And it was a stream of conscious dump out onto the internet. And if I go pull up my YouTube right now, I haven't even done this since I've released it. I don't know how long ago. I'm going to go look, see if it has any views. I am in a combination of I hope it does and I hope it doesn't. But we will see here in about 2 seconds. 2 seconds here. Yes, 11 views. That's scary. Uh-oh. It has a like? God dang. Please don't. Huh. Wild. Almost everyone stops watching after the first 4 minutes, but it's a 22-minute video, and I don't know. It was a wild, wild experiment. I published that May 30th. So, yeah, a while ago. Like a month and a half ago. Whatever. All right. Where do I want to take this podcast next? What is on my mind? What can I be candid and share about? I'm in a position where I'm beginning to create. And I talked a lot about documenting, and this is my way of documenting my life and my journey, specifically after a lot of really, really frustrating downs. But there's been so many great ups, and it is hard. It is beyond difficult to share in that success when the people around you don't understand the ups, right? So some of the greatest moments for me, and if my dad were to ask, okay, but how are you getting paid? Or, okay, cool, so what? Or how does this help you sustain? How does this help you do this, that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And there's no good answer. It's just something that I know is going to help me, something that I know is valuable to me, something that is worth sustaining, something that is worth keeping in my life, or something that's taught me something invaluable. And it's hard, man. It is so hard when you know something deep down was a positive impact, something that you're proud of, and the people around you can't see that. while that is also difficult, that's really only difficult because those people are the people I want to share my successes with. And if they can't understand what those look like, that's a little frustrating because I love to share with others and to make those around me better and to just share that joy that I have. But it's not necessarily a negative feeling as much as it is a missed opportunity to feel even better, right? I have these ups, right? That's amazing. I feel great. I feel incredible. And when I can't share them, it's not like I go down. It's just I knew the opportunity to go up and to make those around me happier and to make those around me proud didn't happen. So there's no downside to it. It's just a missed opportunity there. And that's something that I'm constantly trying to do is make those around me better. Because, and here's why I think making those around you better should be the priority of every single person on the planet. I spend 24/7, 365 with me. There's not a lot of separation here. It's all me together with me every single day, always. I have a lot of me time. And as a result, I know myself really well because I'm honest with myself. If you lie to yourself, that is a hole to dig out of. The biggest habit you need to break is not being candid with yourself every second about every single thing. That's hard to do. It's difficult. It causes a lot of friction, causes a lot of stress, depression, anxiety, a variety of things. But it is far, far more worth lying to yourself and then falling off that cliff, not knowing it was there, right? You have to be candid, open with yourself. But like I was saying, I'm with myself all the time, always. And so I, every single day, get to learn and improve and make myself better. But I'm only around certain people, at maximum, like, 4 hours a day. Or like with my Call of Duty team, 2-3 hours a day. Not even 7 days a week, right? So I have limited time with those people. So I want to focus on making them better in the limited time I have with them. Because if I only focus on myself, I'm going to get bored. I'm here always. Let's focus on something else. And it's also, if every single person focused on helping those around them, let's just talk about a Call of Duty team. You would have, if you didn't give a fuck about yourself and you only cared about helping everyone around you, and every single one of your teammates shared that concept, you would have 3 people supporting you. But every single person would have 3 people supporting you. So if you multiply that by 4, the basic math of 4 and 3 gets us, I don't have 12 fingers, 12, right? So that's a higher number than everyone just supporting themselves at 4. A 3 times higher number. Oh no, the math here is getting out of control, but I'm going for it, okay? Now, that doesn't happen, but in the teams that I've seen be successful, competitively, creatively, spiritually, let's fucking step down that alley. It's about making those around you happier, better, and you can't do that for everyone. I know that I cannot make every single person in my life better because to do that is difficult. It requires a lot of effort, and you need to know that person. You just have to know them. What makes them happy? What makes them sad? What do they look like when they're happy? What do they look like when they're sad? What do they look like when they're uncomfortable? What do they look like when they're in their element? What do they look like when they're lost and can't find what they want to do? You have to know the answer to all those questions to be able to properly help and benefit that person. And I really think there's a pretty small limit on how many people you can know that well to be able to intimately help them and make really important impacts. So that's not the reason I keep my circle small, but the upside of having a small circle is every single one of those people gets my full attention and my best help, my best effort, right? The burger shop does not get my best effort. I get paid like $12 an hour plus like 1.5% of all food sales. Cool. Whatever. I don't fucking care, right? I'm just there to make dollars however I can. I am not going to give that job my maximum effort. That job is getting maybe a quarter of the effort that my engagements on Twitter I have go, that my side projects get with, that my close circle gets attention wise, right? You can only give so much. Choosing where to give it is very, very important. And I feel a lot of people give so much effort into something where they thought the idea of it would make them happy. And I've fallen victim to this, and I've done this before, where I was chasing, it's called chasing the shit, not chasing the feeling. And that's what I call it, at least. And it's when you think everyone wants the same feeling, right? But if you don't know yourself or aren't willing to go through those uncomfortable processes of self-discovery, you will not know the correct path to get to that end feeling, whatever it is. And you might be led astray, and especially by the internet, you're always told what to think, or you're shown, hey, these are happy people. This is what happy people do. This is what happy people have, or successful people, or whatever adjective you want to throw on there, right? So you follow this path that was given to you, and you do it all, and you made it, and then you don't have that feeling. You did all the right things, and you didn't have the feeling. And then that's when you're not lying to yourself, but that's when you fall off that edge of that cliff that you didn't know was there. You didn't know what was supposed to happen. You thought something was supposed to happen. You did all the right things. You don't get there. And for a lot of people, that's an incredibly difficult position to be in. Did everything right. Worked so hard. Did all the right things. Was so successful. Why don't I feel like that? Why didn't I get there? There's so many questions posed, and people think it's a problem with them. There's self-doubt, there's imposter syndrome, there's this, there's that, everything, right? Avoiding that at all costs is what I want to do. I want to make sure that I'm not chasing that shit. The if I want to be happy, do this, do that. Instead, chase that feeling. Be incredibly raw and open with yourself. When I'm at my happiest, what am I doing? Who am I with? Right? And prioritizing those things above everything else. But that requires trying new things. And then maybe hating them, maybe loving them, maybe them just being fun in the recreational sphere, right? You have to constantly expose yourself to new things, to new people, to new environments in order to know what you don't want to do. And also then eventually know what you do want to do. And for me, it's very, very much the Sherlock. Once all possible answers have been erased, and one is left, no matter how improbable that is the solution. I butchered the shit out of that, but you know what I mean? You don't need to know what you want to do. You just go through the process of avoiding what you don't want to do, and then whatever's left, you're going to have good days and bad days. Now, the way I worded that, I kind of hate. It's not an accurate representation of what I feel about this, but it's the best I can do, because you're going to have to do shit you hate. Bro, I hate the burger shop, if I'm being real. I hate it. But I have to do it in order to give myself the freedom to chase other things in the future, right? It's such a fucking hard balance. There's no right answer. Except for the one for you. Everyone's got different right answers. It's so hard, man. The only way that you're going to be successful or happy or content or busy and driven, whatever it is that makes you want to be alive and do your thing, it only comes through the self-discovery, the self-process, and finding, who you are, why I do what I do, why I do what I love. And even if you can't find that answer or don't know what that answer is, if you're asking those questions and working through the process of thinking of them, you're on the right path. That's the only thing I can tell you, is as long as you are chasing the answer to that question, you're doing it right. You will not get that answer in a straight line. You will not. There's not going to be, I want to know what this is, tried a couple things, yay, found it, all done. It's not going to happen. Not only because it's not that easy or that simple, but you're constantly changing as a person. There's this concept, it's a spiritual concept called Transcendentalism. And I'll pull up some resources here to help me talk about it. Transcendentalism. Transcendentalism is, quoting here, is an idealistic, philosophical, and social movement developed in New England around 1836 in reaction to rationalism. It taught that divinity pervades all nature and humanity, and that Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau were central figures. So basically, it's that in order to understand the nature of reality, one must first examine and analyze the reasoning process which governs the nature of experience. Now, those are a lot of fancy fucking words right there. But honestly, if we're just going to slow down and talk about the basic beliefs, is that institutions and organized religion and political parties corrupt the purity of the individual because everyone's unique. Everyone has different experiences. Everyone has different things. I use things because there's so many different words I could put in there. So I'm going to cop out and just say things. But the people, we have faith. I have faith. And the transcendentalist faith is that people are at their best when they're truly self-reliant and independent. And it is only from such real individuals that true community can form. So until you get a group of people who are all self-reliant, have gone through that process of self-discovery or are going through it, can you build a real and true community? Now, I try and find myself walking that path as much as I can. And that's a large reason why I do these kinds of podcasts and these kinds of talks. And I surround myself with people who are, in my eyes, transcendentalists. Whether or not they know the name for that, or if they would even classify themselves as that, or even agree with that definition of themselves. But it's people who are truly self-reliant, and it's not a selfish focus of the self, but it's that when you truly know yourself, then you can, in the most real sense possible, benefit those around you. When I have conquered myself, when I know who I am and what I love, or I am walking that path and taking steps towards that, I am real with myself and true with myself. Only then can I be real and true with others. And that's when true community forms. And that's when real, true relationships can be, healthy and sustainable. That for me is the key of what I do in life, is that transcendentalism. This podcast routinely gets heavier than anticipated, bro. I was trying to think in the beginning of this podcast what I was going to talk about, and I've been looking at a couple of items on my table. I'm looking at a Planet Caravan lighter. I'm looking at the Starbucks, the non-specific drink of coffee. A half-eaten large Popeyes, a half-eaten large non-specific mashed potato cup. And this Boba Fett Lego head, which you guys probably saw me assemble on a live stream. This thing is just sick, dude. Look at this. How sick is this, right? And so looked around me and I was like, okay, we're just going to start talking and find shit within. And here we are, man. I don't know how I managed to do this. I've never gone back and watched a single one of these podcasts. Oftentimes I do this with my other content that I create, my TikToks, other YouTube videos, Twitch streams. I'll go back and watch the shit out of myself, judge, critique, find different problems, do different things. I keep saying things, man. I need to be better with my words. Let's be more real and authentic and clear here, to be better with my actions and my thought processes. But I've never once gone back and watched a single one of these podcasts because I don't have to, because I know that I'm being real and open, and there's nothing that I'm going to go back in these podcasts and realize or relearn, because in that moment, you guys are watching me go through this process of self-discovery in front of your eyes. I'm a better, maybe a different, for sure, person in the 39 minutes and 7 seconds of this podcast so far. You've watched it happen in front of your eyes. And that's the beauty of, being able to podcast and being able to distribute this on the internet. But I am a different person. I have different needs and different journeys and different paths to take, from my most recent podcast to my all the way very, very first podcast, to my first piece of content ever, to my first whatever it may be. It's a constant process of growth, and acknowledging that the solutions for Andy 9 months ago don't solve problems for me now, or don't have the same problems, or don't have the same beliefs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I believe that being true and being candid and knowing thyself Be truly self-reliant and independent. Only then can you both benefit others and benefit from other transcendentalists, other people who are true to themselves. Yeah, like I said, we got a little heavy there. I don't know. I'm gonna bring up some stuff that I think I need to get better at in Call of Duty. I'm the aspiring main AR for Ohio State Call of Duty. I said duty. Fuck, bro. I fully plan on being the best main AR at Ohio State and competing on their primary varsity Call of Duty roster and then going out and shitting on everyone with my team, right? That's the goal. For me to do that right now, I need to do a couple of things. The first one is my shot just needs to get better. I mean, everyone's shot can always get better, always. So I'm using aim labs to work on that. I need to put in more consistent hours there, especially because the limited amount of time I've already used it, I've seen great results. So that's something where it's like, it's tangible. I work at this, I feel better about it. It's almost like, practicing a soccer skill, or lifting a weight to jump higher and have the bounce to be able to dunk, right? Very, very tangible process, result, something I just need to do. It's free, bro. People who aren't doing this, who aren't training aim labs, who aren't working on their aim like that, they're lost. I don't know what to tell you. Everyone could benefit from that. Secondarily, I need to be more present in a lot of these moments. There's too many times where I get sucked into the gunfight that my callouts get bad. Because as soon as the gunfight ends, I need to pull myself out of the think, move, shoot, aim, slide, cancel, right? I need to pull myself out of that tunnel to then go, okay, he's positioned here, my teammates are there, here's how I call it out. Or here's how I make that play. Or here's how I facilitate my teammates' progress forward, right? So because I get tunneled in, I then am able to pull myself out of that tunnel and be a clear and good communicator. But that time, the time to do that, it does take time. And anytime I'm rushed or in a situation that requires it fast, I sometimes have struggles. So there's a miscommunication. And also, if something from my teammate is happening while I'm in that tunnel, sometimes it doesn't penetrate in to that focus of mine, and I just don't get that information, and it's my fault. So that right there, especially as a main AR who's going to be watching out over everything, probably being an IGL, I need to do that better. And quite honestly, the only way to practice that is to be put in those situations and just be self-aware, and also breathing techniques. Every time that I'm anticipating a gunfight or something coming up, I make a conscious effort to go slow, a slow, deep breath outwards, because it makes me zone out. Think about the body controlling these sticks and the body controlling the mind, the mind controlling the body, controlling the sticks, pulls me out of that moment and then lets me think, spawns, rotations, timings, and routes. I get to think about the game and pull myself out of the gunfight tunnel, which is something that I feel like a lot of amateur players cannot do. And if I master that correctly, I'm able to do that, and I get my gun skill up, I'm going to be a problem. I'm going to be a very, very big problem on the map, and it's only going to make my teammates that much better. Incredibly excited for that progress. Yeah. I'm going to stop the podcast here. It's a little bit shorter than usual, but I think short is relative. I think I've covered everything that I want to say. I have, you guys have watched me evolve as a person. You've watched me not only work through some funny problems in the beginning, and then once I found a rhythm, come into terms with the situation that I'm in and the struggles that I have and the things I want to improve on. Then also giving a name and a thesis behind my philosophical views into the world and how I make decisions. And then also give myself a 2-step list on how to become the best Call of Duty player possible. That's not bad, man. Being able to condense it down like that and really have a very attainable and focused goals that I can control. I almost never set goals that I'm not in control of all the factors, right? I do it occasionally, and I used to do it a lot more, where I'll set a goal, be like, I want to do this, and I'm only in control of 60 or 70% of the variables involved that require that outcome. a lot of the times it works out. I'm like, oh, I set out that goal. Yes, let's go. We nailed it. And there's other times where it doesn't work out and it wasn't even something I could control. And that takes damage on the mental and it takes a hit to the confidence. Like, fuck, I set that goal out and it didn't happen. And that's okay. And that happens to people all the time. It happens to everyone. You're going to set goals you don't achieve. I want to make sure that if I don't achieve a goal, it's because of something that I could control, something that I can own up to, something that I can take responsibility for and have control over or fix in the future. That's, I think, really, really good goal setting. Something that I was taught, through sports as a kid. But that sort of wraps up where my mind has gone, how I've gotten different, better, different, whatever label you want to put on it, how I've progressed over these 45 minutes and 39 seconds. You guys watched it happen in front of your eyes. I don't know if this is like cool for you guys or just weird, but I do not see, this content doesn't exist on the internet as far as I've seen. This is, people can live stream and have similar experiences, but I think doing this without an audience, without a chat, and without a goal. I click record when I feel it. I go, podcast time. I click record and go, all right, what did I get myself into? What are we doing today? And every single time, without fail, let that uncomfortable silence sit. Struggle to try and find those words. Struggle to make your way through this. Struggling through these minutes on camera in front, talking to essentially nobody. I come out better on the other side every single time without fail. It's miraculous. Every single one of these videos, there's this amazing thesis at the end. It's very real. It's authentic. And it's towards the goals that I can be proud of. This might be the most proud I've ever been as this series of content that I'm doing. And it's not going to have good numbers. This kind of content, I don't think is going to get good numbers. It hasn't so far, and I don't think it will. And I'm okay with that because the point is not to get good numbers, but on the numbers that I do get, to make real and profound connection. If you watch this video and you are a transcendentalist, you know the value of what I'm doing here, and you're more likely to benefit. Not every transcendentalist, like all of you, every single one of you transcendentalists must learn from this video, right? There's going to be millions of you out there who have the same mindset, have these same goals, and have these same thought processes and journeys that I do, or similar. I don't want to say same, similar. Who can watch this video and go, cool. I didn't really learn anything. Was kind of bored. He can really talk forever. What the fuck is up with this kid? Wow. Right? But it's that one kid who's 16 years old, trying to find his way in the world, struggling with the pressures of everything a 16-year-old struggles with, finding this video, finding this series, watching me grow through it and saying, I can do that too. And he's not telling me the secret sauce. It's not some TikTok trend. It's not the Snapchat story or Twitter thread or business mogul marketing how-to class. It's honest and genuine documentation of my own journey that will allow you the opportunity to, in the space, to take a deep breath and focus on your own inspirations and your own paths and come out the other side better. And if I can do that for, one kid, and I said some 16-year-old kid, that's who I think would benefit the most from a video like this. But there's probably a 62-year-old grandmother out there who has lived a lot of her life, if you were to count the hours already, who's going to get incredible value and incredible soul-changing kindness or any other emotion you could think of out of this video and this experience that I'm sharing. There is no greater power on this planet than that transcendentalist connection. I believe that when two people are both independently able to sustain themselves and are truly reliant on themselves, only then can that connection between those two people, both people can give each other their all because they're both, I don't want to say satisfied or content, but they are both real with themselves. Then they can be real with each other and then can progress forward. So I'm surrounding myself with people who I believe can be transcendentalists or currently are transcendentalists. And because of that, I'm going to win. I'm going to be a part of a movement of people who spread this around the world, because it's not an idea that you need to follow, you need to do. It's not a religion you must follow, or a path you must do, or a political idea you must vote for. It's an expression of the self. Be pure and be true to you, whatever that looks like. I am not telling you who to be other than yourself. So I guess I am being oppressive. I'm being oppressive to acting. Find yourself and be yourself. Whether you do it and you complete that action, I don't even know if you can complete it. And yes, found myself. I know who I am. Yes, all done. I don't think that's possible. But every single person working towards that. Every single person working towards that is, I don't know how to finish that sentence, but I think the idea is there. Maybe we'll finish that sentence in the next podcast. Thank you so much for your time. If you've watched through 51 minutes and 10 seconds of this video, oh boy, I'm beyond grateful that you would give me the opportunity to share myself with you, and that you had given me the time to express myself, and that you would look at someone like me and go, that has inspired me to make myself better or go on my own journey. I could not be prouder to have that opportunity. And it's something that I will forever be grateful for. Every single day of my life, I'm grateful for that opportunity.